Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you from Yahuwah the Father and Yahusha our Mashiach, his voice. Hear, O Yeshua, Yahuwah our mighty one, he is one Yahuwah. This is Brother David coming to you again to bring you the Lunar Deity. What's his name? YAH. When we look up in the sky to observe this event, the beginning of the new month, when the moon is reborn, do you get down on your hands and knees and begin to worship the moon? I hope not. Who do you worship? The Creator. What is the Creator's name? Yah, or Yahuwah. Why did he create this moon and the sun? He said he gave it to you for signs. The moon is the sign of feast, a light that wanes in its perfection. For seasons, the sun gives you your seasons. For days, the moon gives you your days. For years, the sun gives you your years. He created these orbs in the sky for time. You cannot separate the two. It is a perfect watch. Let me ask you a question. When you look at the watch on your wrist, to see what time it is, do you worship it? The answer is no. Why are you looking at it? So you can know what time it is. Why am I saying these things to you? Because there are people out there who want to discourage you. They say when you look up in the sky to count your days from the moon, you're worshiping the moon. Isn't that crazy? But then again, not so crazy, because there are those who worship the moon. We cannot fall into their behavior. What is the Egyptian name for the moon? Now, Brother Gianninswann, he opened up this can of worms. He sent me these screenshots so I could see what he was studying at this time. As soon as I saw it, a light went off in my head. I said, he exposed a deficiency in my teaching. This is something that I did not teach yet. Now I'm going to get it out there. Come down to where it says, what is the Egyptian word for the moon? And look at the name there, I-A-H. The I replaces the Y. The Europeans have replaced the Y, the Yod in Hebrew, with an I in their language. So that word is Yah. Look, in Egyptian it says Jah. We know that the letter J only came into existence a little more than 400 years ago. So we know that the letter J also replaces what? The Yod, the Y. Is a lunar deity an ancient Egyptian religion? The word Jah, no. Yah simply means moon. It is also transcribed as Yah, Yah, Jah, or Ah. What is the Hebrew name for the moon? Okay, you see those 3 letters there in Hebrew? I want you to look it up for yourself. Look at what I got. 2 syllables. YAH, Ra. Tell me, the prefix. There's your father's name. 1 letter, brothers and sisters, always speaks of your father. YAH, Ra. Now you have some transliterations, they have it as Ye, Re, Yak, or Ye, Ra. They always take the Ah out of the Yah, and they'll replace it with an Eh. But Yah, we know, is the name of the master of the universe. Hallelujah. And this is the name for moon in Hebrew. Come down to the bottom. Here's another word that you have to familiarize yourself with. Chodesh. Now you have some Jewish translations and they have a C at the beginning and it'll be Kodesh. But whatever they use, it means renewed. In most places where you see in the book where it says new moon, you won't find the word Yah, Ra. You will find the word Chodesh. And all of your enemies, all of those who believe in the sun calendar, they try to use this word, Chodesh, to mean that the moon is not present when they're speaking of the renewed moon. How silly they are. Because Chodesh means renewed. The Hebrew writers were pointing out to those who were seed what to look for. The moon renews itself every single month. So it's no reason for them to say Yara. They were telling you to look up for the renewal, first light. When first light is transferred from the sun to the moon in parts. Are you with me, brothers and sisters? So don't let them trick you, because the writers of the book were definitely on point. They were telling you about a specific time when the moon is renewed, first light is shined upon it. Because if you use the word Yara, it doesn't point you to a specific time. It speaks of the moon itself as a whole. But if you use Chodesh, you're speaking of the renewal. What is the book of Chanok's name for the moon? And this is chapter 77, verse 1. And the names of the sun are the following. The first, Ojarez, and the second, Tomas. Verse 2. And the moon has 4 names. The first name is Asanja, the second Ebla, the third Benaseh, and the fourth Ira. Now, let's deal with the names. Only the first names, the primary names. We know that there's no J in Hebrew. I hope we're all on the same page. So what would the J represent in Hebrew? The Yod. That's your Y. So what would the name be? Or Yarez. Or Yarez is a masculine name. Then we come down to the feminine name. Has a J there also. We must replace it with its proper letter, and it would be Asan Yah. Remember, Asan Yah, the moon, she doesn't have any light. Light has to be transferred from the sun, or Yares, to the moon in parts. Do you know what this is likened unto? Male and female. The man has the seed. In order for the woman to have a seed, it must be transferred from the male to the female. In this case, there's no seed, but we can use an example that the seed would be what? Light. Light is transferred from Oyares to Asanya. Do you see how it works? They're a team, brothers and sisters. They work together. You cannot separate the two. They have become one. But we have those who try to separate them and go through a sun calendar. That means your calendar is empty. Let me give you an example. I've given it many times, but it helps. Say you have a watch. Your watch is fully functional, the watch face. Take off the hands. How do you know what time it is? With no hands on the watch, you have no pointers to tell you what number it's pointing to, so that you may know what time it is. It means that it is empty. But once you put the two together, and Oyares transfers its light to Asanya, you will see the light begin to grow. It'll become full, then it'll begin to wane, lose its light, it'll turn dark, and then Chodesh. It's renewed again, and the month starts all over. She was empty, but then the seed, which is the light, was transferred. And now her belly begins to grow until she becomes full and she gives birth. Isn't that amazing? The way the things in the heavens work, everything the Father does is just absolutely perfection. The lunar deity YAH. This is the second part that Brother Swan sent me. Look on the bottom, you see the image? Whether it's a male or a female, but you see on top of the head, you have that crescent moon. And then on top of it is a heavenly body, whether it be the sun or whether it be a star. Are you with me? But people were worshiping this statue. They weren't worshiping the Creator. They were worshiping the created thing. Now, you see the definitions we've already been through, but look at the hieroglyphs. Hebrew reads from right to left, so that means that Egyptian, probably the same thing. Semitic and Hamitic cultures before the Europeans came, all did the same. The first one looks like a half moon. Do you see that? Not a half moon, but a crescent moon. Yeah. And then you have this rope entwined. Now, I can't tell you what either one of these really mean, but I can tell you this. The third one is an outstretched arm. Do you see that glyph there? And the fourth one looks like a sail. All right. That glyph with the outstretched arm, you can also find it in Hebrew. it also appears in the Hebrew letter Yod. Okay, look at the chart. Come to your upper left-hand corner where it says early. All right, we're going to come down these hieroglyphs, the Hebrew hieroglyphs, come down 10. You're going to come to the letter Yod, and you will see the same image of the outstretched arm. What did the Father say? I've stretched out my arm unto you all day long. And what did we do? We refused to take it. Such a stiff-necked, unmovable people. So that first letter, Yod, signifies the name of Yah, Yahuwah. Look what it says under picture. Arm and closed hand. I don't see a closed hand. It looks open to me. Who said that? I don't know. Then it means work, throw, and worship. Who do you worship? Do you worship the created things? Or do you worship Yah? Brothers and sisters, we worship Yah. The moon was created by Yah, and it bears his name. Chanok, chapter 80, verses 1 to 8. Verse 1. And in those days, the angel Uriel answered and said unto me, Uriel is the chief over all of those who deal with time. Behold, I have shown thee everything, Chanok. So if you want to know anything about these heavenly bodies, where do you go? Chanok. Now do you see why they took this book out? In the book of Daniel, it tells you that they were going to change times and seasons. They have to take out the book of Chanok because it'll tell you how to find Yahuwah's times and seasons. And I have revealed everything to thee that thou shouldst see, this sun, O Yares, and this moon, Asanya, and the leaders of the stars of the heaven, and those who turn them. So there's a team that keep these two timepieces on track. Their tasks and times and departures. Verse 2. Here's the prophetic word. And in the days of the sinners, the years shall be shortened. Who are the sinners? The children of Yasharal, who were given the laws at Mount Horeb, who was sprinkled with blood, who accepted the covenant, who is under contract. Only the children of Yasharal. So in the days of the sinners, the years shall be shortened, and their seed shall be tardy on their lands and fields, and all things on the earth shall alter, and shall not appear in their time. Look at this one. And the rain shall be kept back, and the heaven shall withhold it. All right. Let's use an example. Let's deal with Noah as we know him. In those days, the Father adjusted time. How do we know this? Because it rained 40 days and 40 nights. I don't know how it works, but he has leaders who turn the stars. The sun, the moon, the stars. So they turned the dial, who knows, to the left, maybe to the right, a little bit off. And the moon controls the axis of the earth, and just a little bit off could give you extreme weather, extreme events. In comes 40 days and 40 nights of rain. Are you with me still? After the rains subsided, they turned back the dial to make it stop. When Noah came out of the ship and he saw that first renewed moon, he started his new month. You find all of this in the book of Jubilees, chapter 6, right? Did he change, Noah, that is? Did he change anything in the sky or create a calendar? No, he didn't. He did not even have a clue. Maybe he didn't, unless Chanok told him that they were going to adjust time and then change it back. And even if he knew what to look for to start the beginning of his month, and he did not alter his behavior and start from the dark moon, but he started from first light. Verse 3, and in those times, what times is he speaking about? The times of the sinners, the times of those who took the law at Mount Horeb, those who were sprinkled with blood. And in those times the fruit of the earth shall be backwards. What happened? We were cursed and evicted from the land. The land was cursed also, and shall not grow in their time. And the fruits of the trees shall be withheld in their time. One of the promises that the Most High gave to us is that the fruit would come forth in its due season. The only way that can happen is if Yahuwah pours out his treasures from heaven. But he's not doing that at this time. There was an adjustment made. Just a little bit, turning the dial to the left or to the right, whichever one he did, it altered time. It altered the seasons. See the word backward? Verse 4. And Asanya shall alter her order. Bingo. And not appear at her time. The earth's axis is controlled by the moon. So if you turn the dial on the moon just a little bit, because there's those who turn these orbs, you can have extreme weather. We've learned that from Noah. Now we're talking about the time of sinners, which is us. Verse 5, and in those days the sun shall be seen, and he, or Yares, shall journey in the evening on the extremity of the great chariot in the west. Isn't that where we spot our renewed moon? Yes, it is. But look what's going to happen. Because there's been an adjustment to the moon. Its gravitational pull. It's been altered, and shall shine more brightly than accords with the order of light. Extreme weather. It's going to be too hot. Look what's going to happen. A desert. Who's in control? your father. The moon doesn't do this by itself. It's ancient technology. The Father controls all things. Satan doesn't control it. No man controls it. Only Yahuwah controls it. And he uses his mighty ones to carry out the task. Light bulbs should be going off in your head right now. The Father said that when we return, that the rivers shall sprout forth from the earth. He shall pour out his treasures from heaven in due season. But remember, the land is cursed right along with us, and it won't change until we return. So who are those people that are in the land? This is proof through nature and scripture that they are not the ones. Verse 6. And many chiefs of the stars shall transgress. The word should not be transgress, should be change the order prescribed. Remember who these chiefs work for. Yahuwah, the master of the universe. He's the one who gave them the orders to change. Because of the curse that was put upon the children of Yasharal, when we were cursed, also was the land. And these chiefs of the stars shall alter their orbits and tasks. What orbits? Oyares and Asanya, and not appear at the season prescribed to them. So you see that? In comes the 13th month. What are they trying to do here on earth? The Jews, that is. They're trying to control time. And this is where they went in their error, and everyone who follows them shall err with them, because these are the Gentiles that the Father was speaking about in Jubilees, that we would follow the ways of the Gentiles. Just about the whole world is following them. Verse 7. And the whole order of the stars shall be concealed from the sinners. Is that true? Yes, it is. We only look at the Gregorian calendar. No one looks up. Nor do they understand what is happening in the sky anymore. It used to be common knowledge, but now it has been discarded. And the thoughts of those on the earth shall err concerning them, the Gentiles. You see that? You got those who say, oh, we start from a dark moon. We got those who say we start from the sun calendar. Then we have something that is really ridiculous. When our brothers are starting from the full moon. Do you know how ridiculous that makes us look just by starting our month from the full moon, which is the middle of the month? How do you do that? And they shall be altered from all their ways. Yea, they shall err and take them to be gods. Bingo. Did you know that people are worshiping the moon? You know the symbol of Islam? There's a crescent moon with a star. I asked a question, or I presented a picture on my test. Today's the last day of the test. So now I can say it's over, matter of fact, because we're in the Sabbath. I presented a picture, and it was really a trick question, to tell you the truth, because I chose one that's in a different part of the year where people would have to really, really investigate to see. That picture represents the end of the month, the 27th or the 28th day, the last night that light is shown upon the moon before it turns dark, and then it is reborn again. Are you with me? So when you look at the crescent moon and the star, they're not presenting you the beginning of the month. They're presenting you the end of the month before it turns dark. What does that represent? I don't know. Verse 8. And evil shall be multiplied upon them, and punishment shall come upon them, so as to destroy all. Allat, Alilat, Allah. Now the first two names, Allat and Alilat, is the feminine form of who? Allah. Allat is the moon goddess. Look at the image. What is that on top of her head? That's the Kaaba, brothers and sisters. The image of Allat in early times with a whole bunch of other gods was placed inside of this Kaaba. I wonder if it's still there today. And the Kaaba is considered to be a woman. Listen what they say. Kishwa. What does that mean? We dress her. They put the robes on her. On those robes are the names of blasphemy. Isn't that crazy? We thought that they had no idolatry in them, but they're at the highest form of idolatry, and they're family members. Their seed is spoiled, but they're family members because they come from Abraham. Abraham had the law too. He taught Ishmael. Remember that. He taught Ishmael the law because Ishmael was the firstborn. They say that Abraham and Ishmael built this Kaaba together. What a lie. They did not. This Kaaba was used for idol worship, and it symbolizes the woman that you read about in Revelation that is dressed in scarlet. Look to the picture at your right. I'm getting ready to get in trouble. This is the side of the Kaaba. And when you go to the Hajj at Mecca or Medina or wherever it is, you have to go to this Kaaba and circumambulate around it 7 times. And then you're supposed to try your best, if you can, to go and kiss this stone that's inside of this metal frame. Okay, let me give the brothers a test. This is for the brothers only. Hey, brothers, what does this look like to you? Remember, this is a woman. And you have to go and stick your head inside of it and kiss it. And if you can't kiss it, just touch it. And if you can't touch it, just point at it to show your allegiance to this. This is absolute craziness. This is why the Father is coming back to destroy this place first, because they're in the land with this worship, and this worship has taken over the land. He's going to cleanse the land. All his enemies, everyone who is dealing with this worship is the enemy of your Father. Remember, I told you before from the beginning that the Son is male And the Sanya, the moon, female, she doesn't have any light. But she receives light from the sun. So the sun is giving, and the moon, Asanya, is receiving, just like the same thing in procreation between male and female. And look at what they have on the side of that Kaaba. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 15 to 20. Verse 15. Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no manner of similitude on the day that Yahuwah spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire. They had never seen anything like this before when the Father had presented his glory unto them. Verse 16, here's the warning. Lest ye corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female. Don't you do that. Verse 17. The likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air. Verse 18. The likeness of anything that creepeth underground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. Verse 19. And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto the heaven. You're looking up. And when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the host of heaven, shouldst be driven to worship them and serve them, which Yahuwah, the supreme power of the Elohim, hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven. So you see, even our ancestors were beginning to worship the created things instead of the Creator. You find many instances in the book where they had these idols, and they were worshiping these idols, brothers and sisters. There's nothing new under the sun. Now he said he divided this unto all the nations under the whole heaven. Why did he do that? In Genesis it tells you why. For the moon and that sun, they're created for what? Signs. For seasons, for days, for years. In other words, time. There was no other way to calculate time except for by looking up. Verse 20. But Yahuwah have taken you and brought you forth, Yasharol, out of the iron furnace, even out of Egypt, the house of bondage, to be a people unto him, a people of inheritance, as ye are this day. You are the people of inheritance. Do not turn this down to worship the things that have been created. Only worship the Creator and learn his name. Jeremiah chapter 9. Verse 12 to 16. Verse 12. Who is the wise man? Is that you? Brother Kuya, is this you that may understand this? And who is he that whom the mouth of Yahuwah hath spoken, that he may declare it? Oh, that's me. Because I'm declaring it right now and being used by Yahuwah. For what the land perisheth and is burned up like a wilderness that none passeth through. There it is, Chanok chapter 80, verse 6 to 8. Here you have it in Jeremiah. Why is the land burned up like a wilderness, brothers and sisters? Because the dial has been turned up and the heat is in the land. Why did he turn up the heat in the land, according to Chanok? Because we transgressed the laws of the Mighty One, verse 13. And Yahuwah says, because they have forsaken my law. Oops, there it is, which I set before them, and have not obeyed my voice, neither walked therein. That's why the land is burnt up like a wilderness. Don't let those people over there fool you. They are not the people of the book. Verse 14, but have walked after the imagination of their own heart, and after Baalim, which their fathers taught them. Listen, just because your father or your mother, because here we didn't have too many fathers in the house, but we had mothers. They taught us Christianity. They may have taught you Islam. Who knows what they taught you? It does not make it right because they're your father and your mother. What am I trying to tell you? You have to check on everyone. You have to prove all things, brothers and sisters. It is your personal responsibility. Verse 15. Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, the mighty one of Yasharol, behold, I will feed them, even this people. Who are these people? Yasharol. What is he going to feed us with? Wormwood, and give them bitter waters to drink. He's giving us the chronological order of the destruction of the kingdom and why. Then what is he going to do with us? Verse 16. I will scatter them also among the heathen. He's talking about these white folks, whom neither they nor their fathers have known. Our ancestors didn't even know these people until they came from the north into the land. They were cruel. They had no compassion. And I will send a sword after them. After who? The heathen? No, after you, because you have transgressed your father's laws, till I have consumed them. Ezekiel, chapter 36, verse 33 to 36. We just witnessed the chronological order of events that led us into the lands of our captivity. What happened? We broke the law that was given to us at Horeb. We accepted it with our voice. We were sprinkled with blood. Therefore, even the seed that came from our loins had to keep those laws. Are you with me? But what did we do? We went whoring after other gods. What is the first commandment? Thou shalt have no other gods before me. The book says Baalim. And today, it would be Jesus, Jehovah, the Lord, God. Here's another one. When we finish our prayers, we say Amen. When we finish a passage in Scripture, we say Amen. Why do we say that? Because it's in the book. That's another God. You're calling on Amen Ra. Cleanse your speech. Don't call upon any of those names. Call upon Yah, Yahuwah. At the end of your prayers, at the end of a passage, you say Halal Yahuwah or Hallelujah, and you are safe. What did he do after that? He gave us wormwood to eat. What did he give us to drink? Bitter waters. Then what happened? He called the Europeans from the north. Our fathers had never even seen these people before. They were cruel, still are today. They had no compassion, and they still have no compassion. We were scattered into their lands, and we have been here 400 years. The prophecy in the book of Acts tells you that we shall be removed from our borders. We shall be enslaved and treated evil 400 years. Then the book tells you that there shall be a remnant that Yahuwah has preserved for himself. Ezekiel, or the book of Chanok, that is, tells us that a righteous race would arise in the last days. They would keep these commandments. He would pour his spirit out to us, and we shall know his name. Verse 33. Thus saith Yahuwah Almighty, in the day that I shall have cleansed you from all your iniquities, I will also cause you to dwell in the cities, and the wastes shall be builded. Let me ask you a question. Are those who call themselves Jews, have they been cleansed from all of their iniquities? They're having gay parades over there. When the Feast of Unleavened Bread comes, there's still leaven found in their coasts. How did they get there? Did you see any Messiah come cleanse the land of all of his and our enemies and brought them there to dwell safely? No. They're surrounded by enemies, fighting every day to try to control the land. The land is a desert. They're experiencing dust storms. What am I trying to tell you, brothers and sisters? There's only one people that fit every single criteria in the book. It's you. And he's coming to get all of those who have overcome, and you're going to dwell in cities that you did not build. And the wastes shall be builded. Your temple, Telerod, shall be rebuilt. Not the place that they're at today where Herod's temple was, where they have a mosque on the top of the hill, where the Jews go and bow before a stone structure and put their prayers in the cracks. Those are the walls of Fort Antonia. Verse 34. And the desolate land shall be tilled. Let me read that again. And the desert land, you saw the picture, shall be tilled, whereas it lay desert in the sight of all that pass by. You got that in Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 12. So we got all of these witnesses here. You have the reason that it became desolate in Chanok, chapter 80, verse 6 to 8. We found that also in Jeremiah. We sinned against our mighty one, brothers and sisters. We were cursed, and so was the land. No one else will enjoy it until we return. Verse 35. And they shall say, who shall say? All of those who are round about us. This land that was desolate is become like the Garden of Eden. Let me read that again. This land that was desert is going to become like the Garden of Eden. He said he's going to pour out his treasures from heaven. He said he's going to bring forth fountains from the earth. And the waste and desolate and ruined cities are become fenced and are inhabited. Is that true for now? No. Telerod is desolate, brothers and sisters. It is not fenced. The temple has not been rebuilt. The Father has not allowed anyone to destroy it or to rebuild it. Until who? You return. Verse 36, then the heathen that are round about you shall know that I, Yahuwah, build the ruined places. Who is he going to use? His battle axe, his chosen ones, his people. And plant that was desolate, because he's going to pour out his treasures from heaven. And your fruit shall come forth in due season, the way it's supposed to be. I, Yahuwah, have spoken it. And if he said it, and I will do it, he will do it. You don't have to do anything but follow commands. Who changed the time? This is for all of those cerebral people, because being cerebral can get you in trouble. Who changed the time? Yahuwah did it. Why did he do it? Because we transgressed his law. So he made it a desolate wilderness. So being that he changed time, and if you look up in the sky and you spot the renewed moon and you start your month from there, will you still be on his time? Yes, you will. He is the watchmaker. He can adjust it to any time that he wants to. Here's something else. Will you see the adjustment? You will not even know. Everything will seem to be flowing just the way it's supposed to have flowed for the beginning of time. You don't need to make any adjustment. You don't need the rules of postponement. You don't need to add a 13th month to the calendar to try to keep up with him. Because once those who have overcome return to the land, everything shall be restored. Shalom.